I'd like to thank all participants for holding. All lines will be on listen only until the question and answer portion of today's conference. I'd also like to inform participants today's call is being recorded. I'd now like to turn the call over to Luis Carrillo. Thank you. You may begin.
Thank you, Brian. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Luis Correal.
And I'm Dan Rutherford.
And both Dan and I are with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Today is it's our 8th webinar in our series of monthly webinars. The purpose of these webinars are to educate library staff about our financial education programs and resources, and help you develop better programs and feel more comfortable talking about these issues. This will be a very interactive webinar with plenty of time for questions and answers. We will open the phone lines when we're ready to hold discussions and take questions at the end of the session. We'll move on. As was said at the beginning, this webinar is going to be recorded, we would provide you with a list of our upcoming webinars. And for those of you that have questions or interested in getting additional information, you can email us at financialeducation@cfpb.gov. Today's webinar is going to be about savings for the unexpected, emergency, and goals. And as you can see there, we have posted the webinars that have taken place in the previous months, and we'll invite you to visit our website because we archive this webinar so you can view them at any time.
Again, we want to make this as interactive as possible, so we will stop and have discussions or take questions along the way. You can also ask questions using the Q&A window on your screen. Simply click on the Q&A button and type in your question. When you click Ask, the question will appear on our screens, and we will respond either on the spot or during the Q&A session. Here are our learning objectives for today. Understanding savings and its importance, reasons to save, the benefits of a savings plan, and identifying safe places to save. So the first question we want to ask is, why save for unexpected expenses and emergencies? The simple answer is because they will happen. Nobody knows when, nobody knows why or how, but we all know that they will happen. Everyone has unexpected expenses and emergencies. This could be a suddenly needed car repair, the need to travel to help a sick family member in another state, a cutback in hours, or even the loss of a job. When you save for unexpected expenses and emergencies in advance, you can handle them when they happen without having to skip paying your other bills or borrow money. Saving will help you save the additional costs of being late on bills or borrowing to cover those extra costs that can make it harder to reach your goals. When you skip paying other bills to pay for an emergency, you often pay late fees. And if it results in the loss of service, your utilities are shut off, for example, then you have to come up with even more money to turn them back on. When you borrow money, you have to pay fees and sometimes interest. And on top of that, you will have to use some of your income going forward to pay back the money you borrow. Borrowing money to cover unexpected expenses and emergencies both costs you more and uses up some of your income every month until you've paid back the money. So saving money now for unexpected expenses and emergencies can save you money later. The easiest way to find a chunk of money is to eliminate one major cost. This may mean cutting back on television services, from premium cable service to basic, for example, or maybe to reduce your phone service from unlimited text and calling to a more limited plan, or on a service that you're paying for but may not be using. If there are not major costs to cut, you may have to cut back a little bit in several different categories of spending. Cutting out one meal out per month, for example, or consolidating errands to spend less on gasoline. But the big challenge is turning that money saved into savings. If you don't have a place to set it aside, it can be easy to spend instead of save. One way to avoid spending the money you have saved is by opening a savings account at a bank or credit union or buying a savings bond. For example, your tax refund can be saved for emergencies or unexpected expenses, set aside for annual expenses such as back to school or holiday shopping, used to pay down debts, used to take care of car repairs, or set aside household maintenance. Again, you must make sure that some of that new income gets moved into a place that you have decided to save it. Did you know that most people in the U.S. don't have enough savings to cover a $1,000 emergency? Whether you have low income or high income, most people can expect around $2,000 worth of unexpected emergency expenses in a year. These unexpected expenses include medical bills that aren't covered by insurance, auto repairs, home and appliance repairs, and bills that you still have to pay if you lose your job. For individuals with fluctuating or seasonal income, the amount of money needed to cover weeks or months when the income is less than expected or non-existent will be even greater than $2,000 for unexpected or emergency expenses. The reasons you are saving? This could include your goals, setting up an emergency fund, money to pay for your automobile insurance in 3 months, money to cover the months you are likely to be laid off due to a seasonal availability of work, or to ensure that you have enough money set aside for back to school expenses. How much do you need to save? This is the total amount of money you need to save. You do not need to save this all at once. Your savings plan will help you come up with an amount of money you can save each and every month to reach all of your savings goals. How are you going to find the money to save? These are specific strategies you are going to use to find money to save. Most people do not have unused income. They have to make choices about cutting back on one expense or more to afford something else. Or they have to figure out a way to get more income. Another strategy is using direct deposit or transfer of a set amount into a savings account if you have a regular paycheck. When you are going to put that money into savings, you have to work hard to save money. You want to make sure that you put it into a safe and secure place. An important part of your savings plan is identifying specifically where you will put the money you have saved. So what are some of the benefits of a savings plan? Well, your plan will build your own personal safety net one paycheck at a time. As you build your savings, you can have a little bit more peace of mind knowing that you have a little set aside for unexpected emergencies. As you watch small amounts add up, you'll move closer to reaching your goals and almost always pay less than when you use credit or rent to own. And you'll save money by avoiding late fees, interest charges, and other costs related to not covering expenses or borrowed money. And when you avoid borrowing, you don't have to commit future income to paying off your debt. So what are some safe places to save? In general, the limit is $250,000 per depositor per institution for insurance coverage in FDIC-insured banks and credit unions protected by the Credit Union National Association. So if you have no more than $250,000 in a savings account, in a savings account in an insured bank and the bank fails, you will not get all of your money back. The FDIC and the NCUA do not insure money that people use to invest in stocks, mutual funds, life insurance policies, annuities, or other securities, even if they are purchased from a bank or credit union. So what we have are basically two insuring institutions, the FDIC, or the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and the National Credit Union Administration, the NCUA, and they both insure the deposits that you make in those institutions. So as long as that money is saved in a bank or an insured credit union, your money is protected. So how will you know if your deposits in a bank or credit union are insured? Look for these logos. One is the FDIC, the other is the NCUA logos. These will be on the door, displayed on the bank or credit union website, or on the materials that you get from the bank or credit union. If you receive a regular paycheck, another way to build savings is through direct deposit. And basically, you don't have to get a check and cash it to use it. All of the funds are generally available as soon as they are deposited. This means that when you get paid on time, even if you aren't working on a payday, and that you get paid at the start of payday, not the end of the day. If your weekly paycheck of $245 is directly deposited into your checking account every week, you can have $10 automatically transferred into a savings account. Once you set the system up, you may forget about that $10, and by the end of the year, you'll have over $500 in that account. If your employer allows you to split your direct deposit, consider putting some of your paycheck into savings and the rest into a checking account for your bills and other expenses. Some payroll cards have a savings or purse feature. This feature lets you set aside some of your paycheck on the card for savings. You will need to find out the specific features and fees of the payroll card offered through your employer. Check with your employer to learn more about direct deposit. If you're considering opening a savings account, it's important to understand the impact that your banking history report may have on the type of account you may be able to open. The information can help you learn more about and take action to correct any mistakes in your report. If you find mistakes, you can dispute these by sending a letter. You may have to send it by certified mail, describing the mistake and including copies of any evidence. So banks and credit unions use companies like check systems, telecheck, and early warning to compare your banking history similar to the credit reporting agencies that report on credit histories. And so what banks will do is they'll ask these companies to report on patrons' information and historical use of bank accounts, and if there's a problem or a mistake, it could prevent some folks from getting an account. So just like you would check your credit history, if there's a problem with opening a bank account, basically you would want to check and make sure that there are no errors or problems with these history reports. So what do you do if you're denied a checking account? If you're denied a checking account based in whole or in part on a report from any of these specialty consumer reporting agencies, you have the right to a free disclosure of certain information in your file from that agency. The notice you receive from the bank or credit union will give you the name, address, and phone number of the consumer reporting company and how you can contact it to obtain your free disclosure. If you find mistakes, you can dispute the information at www.consumerdebit.com. That's www.consumerdebit.com. Call for more information at 800-428-9623 or send a written request to Check Systems, Inc., 7805 Hudson Road, Suite 100, Woodbury, Minnesota, 55125. This information will also be available in the handouts. I believe there's a reference to all of these reporting companies there. So you check the handouts tab. There we have it. It's on your screen. You can also request your annual file disclosure from Telecheck Services and Certegy Check Services, Inc. So all the information is there on your screen. If you continue to have problems, you can also submit a complaint to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau website. Visit consumerfinance.gov and select the Submit a Complaint tab. The information you'll be directed to how to submit a complaint for the appropriate type of consumer product you're interested in. You can also submit a complaint via phone and by mail. That information is also on our website. Again, if you want more information about our financial education program for public libraries or for libraries, please visit our website at consumerfinance.gov/library-resources. You'll find information there from programming ideas to print materials that you can order for free, online resources that you can refer patrons to or use for your own programming needs, additional webinars for training that we've done in the past and upcoming webinars that we plan to hold in the future, as well as a partnership guidebook, which is an instruction and information to help you build partnerships for your programs, and marketing materials to help you support and encourage financial education, financial literacy in your library. And now we'll open it up for questions and answers.
Okay, for the participants on the phone line, it is *1 for questions. Once again, *1 to ask a question. Okay, I do have a question from Michelle. Your line is open.
What would you recommend for someone who has an issue with getting a bank account and their report's not wrong? So they've had some past financial difficulties and are having problems opening a bank account now.
If they're having problems opening a bank account and they're simply wanting to save some money and put it away for future use, there might be some other opportunities in terms of savings bonds. Dubis, do you have any other thoughts on that?
My only reaction is that if they're having problems with a particular institution, they should try other institutions because some of them have different policies. So I would encourage that individual to go to different institutions.
Yeah, try different institutions and other alternatives that may not require the same sort of, so in other words, you could try various money market mutual fund accounts or other accounts. They're not FDIC or NCUA insured, but you know, again, those would be a way for an individual to earn a little bit of interest and have some liquidity at the same time.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'm showing no further questions.
Great. Well, if there are no other questions, feel free, if you have any questions after we get off the webinar, feel free to email us at financialeducation@cfpb.gov. Again, my name is Dan Rutherford.
And my name is Dubis Corral, and we thank you for participating today, and we will be posting this webinar online so that you can share with your colleagues as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you. That does then conclude the call for today. You may disconnect your phone lines at this time.